Let's talk about A2 web hosting. The big question is this web hosting platform really worth it or not? Here's a presentation I want you to really pay attention to. Before we get into nitty gritty, I want you to understand that when you think about A2 web hosting, you got to think about a constellation of web hosting options. You have VPS hostings, you have WordPress hosting, you have web hosting, you have a constellation. And A2 hosting is one of the oldest web hosting providers that's still extremely popular. And basically, we love the fact that they have been around for so long, but they're still kicking ass all the time. And it's one of those things. I first want to talk to you about the pros and cons so you have a clear idea about the A2 web hosting. So first of all, the pros, you have a robust hosting packages, particularly WordPress. You have excellent customer service, terrific uptime, good money back refund plan. So when you think about the in terms of the monetary consideration, you are really in good hands. Okay, you have very fast load pages, and they have servers in 3 continents. They are building a third one. They're building they're building servers, if you will, on a fourth continent, and they have tools for boosting speed, and they have free daily backups. What about the cons here? Well, right now they do lack Windows server options. They are relatively expensive. I'll talk to you about the pricing later on. So if affordability is a key concern for you, you want to steer clear of A2 web hosting, and they have a premium level process. The free domain is not included, and all the benefits hide under the turbo plans. I'll speak about pricing later on, but so turbo plans, you're talking about a very high up in the hierarchy. Okay, so they have server locations right now. They have it in North America, in the US, in Europe, the Netherlands, and Asia, Singapore, and they're building a fourth. They're building a couple of other servers right now in Africa, especially South Africa and Nigeria. So this is what it is, and they do have a 24/7 live support. So this is really cool. In terms of uptime guarantee, you are looking at 99.9%, and in terms of hosting types, you have shared hosting, managed WordPress hosting, VPS hosting, reseller hosting, and dedicated hosting. So you can see that they cover the whole gamut. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. I want to talk to you about pricing. I want you to look on the screen right now. This is what we have when it comes to pricing. So the shared hosting, WordPress hosting, VPS hosting, and dedicated hosting. And so basically we're speaking here about annual hosting. I mean, annual billing rather. If you want to go with monthly billing, the price will be a little high. And so it's one of those things where you have to see what really works for you. And I first want to talk to you about the startup. If you're a startup, the startup plan is a solid. So the startup, the drive, and the turbo boost, they have a four types of plans within each hosting category: startup, drive, turbo boost, and turbo max. So the startup plan is a solid pick for businesses new to the web that just need a simple website. The 100 gigabyte of storage will be enough for some photos or PDFs, such as menus or a service list. However, you are limited to just 5 databases, which could be tricky if you wanted to sort customers, products, and other files. And so this plan also doesn't come with Node.js capabilities, which could really limit the developmental features here. And then you have the drive. So upgrading to the drive plan gets you unlimited websites, which is really great if you want sites for each of your locations. And unlimited storage and databases are also great for uploading and categorizing your data. An automatic A2 cloud backup is also standard at this level. So this is kind of cool in terms of giving you the capabilities that you need to have. And so what about Turbo Boost? Well, the Turbo Boost plan is the lowest tier plan that gives you access to A2's turbo servers. And this gives you up to a 20 times increase in speed. Think about that. I mean, if you're running a website, if you're running an online store, you have the capability here to actually have access to multi-speed servers, and even WordPress installs have acceleration technology with this plan, the Turbo Boost. They also come with a deluxe WordPress toolkit with features such as cloning, staging, and mass updates. And then you have the Turbo Max as the most expensive plan. This plan actually includes 4 gigabytes of physical memory and 4 processing cores. However, since this seems to be the only difference between this plan and the Turbo Boost plan, it's one of those things where you have to see whether it really works for you in terms of the pricing delta here. And in terms of customer service and support, A2 Hosting has three ways to reach customer service. You have a live chat, you have email tickets, and you have phone. There's also a support knowledge base and setup quick guides that might be able to answer your questions. Overall, based on our analysis, we have seen that A2 Hosting customers largely agree that the support team is knowledgeable and helpful. This is kind of cool. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about A2 web hosting. I want to talk to you about the specs here. So when we think about A2 web hosting, what are the specs I want you to pay attention to? So when you think about shared web hosting, I mean, first of all, you have a constellation of hosting capabilities, right? You have shared web hosting, you have a VPS web hosting, you have a dedicated web hosting, you have a cloud web hosting, WordPress web hosting, reseller web hosting, commerce and security web hosting when it comes to commerce and security. So shared web hosting, if you want to launch a website without spending a lot of cash, you want to invest in a shared web hosting. So a shared hosting package places your site on a server with many other sites. So you literally share server resources and lower your overall hosting fee. It's a practical and cheap web hosting process, but it's not particularly powerful. The main drawback is that the other sites that share your server can slow or even take down your site if they crash badly or get a big traffic spike. So it's one of those things where you are sharing resources. And when it comes to VPS web hosting, you have the ability to, like with A2, you have the ability to have multiple Linux-based virtual private server packages, VPS packages. And VPS hosting is like sharing hosting in that multiple sites exist on the same server. The difference is that VPS hosting offers more resources per site. There are far fewer sites on each server, and each is isolated from its server mates. You also have here, one thing I want to say here is that Hostwinds is a little better in our view when it comes to A2 web hosting because, I mean, we are speaking here about VPS hosting because this basically, if you let's say if you need multiple hosting capabilities, let's say you have an online store and you need some kind of strength, some kind of capabilities when it comes to web hosting, you are going to be well served when it comes to A2 web hosting, but you are better off with Hostwinds or Bluehost for that matter. One thing I want to say here is that we are speaking about like the standard VPS hosting, Minecraft hosting, especially when you talk about A2 web hosting, you have a slider that lets you quickly select a pre-configured server, and this is kind of cool. And overall, one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about managed plans or on a single plan, managed server or let's say free resources, A2 web hosting has got you covered all the time. And that's what we love a lot. We love the fact that they have a great customer service that will answer all questions that you have, that will make sure that your needs are well taken care of. And they always update stuff in real time. So at least you are never surprised. You always know what's really happening. And one thing we also love here is that you are constantly getting upgrades. This is kind of cool, especially if you have an idea and let's say you want to focus later on when it comes to upgrading your sites, you are really, really well served. So this is just fantastic. You also have dedicated web hosting. So dedicated servers are the most powerful web hosting offerings around. As your website shares zero server resources with other sites, if you expect a large amount of website traffic, you should actually spring for dedicated hosting. And A2 has many Linux-powered dedicated server packages, and this is kind of cool. And so it's all about the differences here are around the cores, CPU cores, RAM. You have the storage when it comes to monthly data transfers and the hard drives. And so it's one of those things where you have to see what really works for you, especially in those servers' ability to let you obtain root access and use host guard management. and so this is really good. You also have cloud web hosting. So cloud web hosting is becoming increasingly common. It differs from traditional hosting in that it spreads resources across multiple servers, whereas traditional hosting pulls power from a single server. And A2, like many other web hosts, offers multiple tiers of cloud hosting, and this is kind of cool. And the one thing I want to say is that they are constantly upgrading the system, but unfortunately, as of now, they are limiting everything to just the Linux operating system, not the Windows and no, just the Linux. So it is something that could be improved in our view. You also have WordPress web hosting. So this is kind of cool. So if you want to go the WordPress route, A2 has got you covered. It has 4 shared WordPress hosting plans. They have the startup, the boost, the drive, the turbo boost, and turbo max. So those are identical to the company's shared web hosting plans. And but the advantage of using A2's WordPress hosting is that you have an optimized environment that enables you to have a faster page loading than the normal shared hosting package. So this is kind of cool in terms of scalability. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about A2 web hosting. Let's talk about reseller web hosting. So basically, if you're looking to get into let's say you want to have an online store, but you do not want to deal with infrastructure matters, you can go with the reseller or hosting packages. So the plans starting at about 20 to 25 bucks per month and scaling all the way to 45 to 55 bucks per month. Those plans boast unlimited emails and up to 250 gigabyte of storage and 3500 gigabyte of monthly data transfers. So this is kind of cool. And in addition to that, A2 lets you apply your own branding to the servers you rent, and it supplies 24/7 tech support. And this is kind of cool. And you also have commerce and security. So if you plan to sell products, check out A2's many e-commerce tools and capabilities. You can use PrestaShop, you can use OpenCart, WooCommerce, or another tool for that matter to construct an online store. All offer a one-click setup that lets you get started fairly easily. And this is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say here is that you have flexibility. You also have terrific uptime when it comes to A2 web hosting. This is kind of cool, especially if you are running multiple websites. And so website uptime is a vital element of web hosting. If your site goes down, clients or customers will be unable to find you or access your products or services. It is in your best interest to find a reliable web host that can keep your website up and running, and you have that. And because the thing is that if customers actually leave your sites, they may go elsewhere and they might never come back. And also you have excellent customer service. So this is kind of cool. And their customer service is available 24/7 via phone or live chat. So you are able to get the support you need no matter what. Let me talk to you about the extras here. So when we talk about A2 web hosting, what kind of extras are we talking about? First of all, I think I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it. We are speaking about an uptime of 99.99%. This is kind of cool. And so the average response time is really around 500 to 600 milliseconds. And it's one of those things where you have to see what really works in you. If this is too high for you or too low for you. And it's one of those things that in terms of hosting speed, if your website is hosted in their US data centers, you are good to go. But if you were like hosted elsewhere, like outside the States, then you have to really think a little bit as to really what really works for you. And in terms of A2 hosting stress testing, the stress testing also came back really good in terms of capabilities, in terms of scalability, and it's one of those things where we love the fact that A2 hosting their speed keeps going up and up and up because they use a bunch of contemporary technology and apps that really help them speed things up. So this is kind of cool. So you have modern hardware and you have advanced software optimization. For modern hardware, you have server locations in places like Michigan, Arizona, Netherlands, and Singapore. So you have the ability to always switch from one place to another. But they're working on a fourth series of servers in Africa, for instance. You have SSD storage, so this is kind of cool. And A2 uses SSD storage instead of the outdated HDD. This is where A2 Hosting's claim that it is 20 to 30 times faster comes in. So this is kind of cool. You also have a NVMe AMD EPYC server. So if you choose either of the turbo planes, your website will be hosted actually on an NVMe AMD EPYC server. And so these are some of the fastest enterprise grade servers available at the moment. They use technology that allows reaching full SSD potential. At the same time, you'll get more resources allocated to the website. That's also due to the fact that there are fewer users on the server. And when it comes to advanced software optimization, you have a PHP version, you have a HTTP 3 and QUIC, and you have a A2 optimized software. And so A2 Hosting optimizes actually popular software such as WordPress, Drupal, and PrestaShop, and it configures the best performance and security settings for the app, so they are faster than the default version. So, and is that really true? We tested it out, and we got an acceptance rate of 70%. So this is decent in terms of their claim. So what is our verdict here? So basically, I want you to understand that when you think about A2 web hosting, I want you to think about an outstanding web host. They've been around for so many years. I think 20 years. That's really great. And for so many years, they've been they have been at the top of their game. This is really fantastic. And the company's hosting packages are notably robust, especially its WordPress plans, which makes it really great when it comes to switching in terms of migration. Okay, now if you love dedicated customer service, you will love A2 web hosting. If you love pricing that is transparent, you will love A2 web hosting. We love the fact that they clearly categorize all of their pricing tiers in terms of the resources, in terms of the categories, but also in terms of how much bandwidth you have on each plan. And so don't forget that in terms of hosting types, they also serve you all kinds of hosting types. You have shared hosting, you have managed WordPress hosting, you have VPS hosting, you have dedicated server hosting. So you do have a constellation of hosting processes that really are there for you. And one thing I want to say is that just be clear as to what pricing plan you want to go for. You have the startup, you have the drive, you have the turbo boost, and you have the turbo max. Everything depends upon your configuration and how you want to get things done in a certain way. One thing I want to say here is that all in all, A2 Hosting is more of a premium provider for those people who are looking for the best shared hosting hardware. And so you really have to be ready to stick with them for less than 6 to 12 months, really, to get the gist of their offer. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Let's do a quick recap here. So in today's conversation, I was just talking to you about A2 web hosting. So I gave you the presentation, the pricing, the specs, the extras, and our verdict. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.